Okay, so from the given number 123, how we can extract any one digit here? Okay, so by performing some mathematical operation. Okay, so now what is the logic here? Say just when you divide this number with 10. Okay, so just see here, 10 12s are 120. Okay, so then remainder 3 you are getting here. Okay, just see here, remainder 3 you are getting. Okay, so that means when you divide the given number with 10, so see remainder 3, that means the last digit you are getting in remainder position, and remaining 2 digits you are getting in a quotient position. Okay, that means you separated one digit from this and the remaining 2 digits are present in quotient. Okay, right? So how to do this kind of mathematical operation in programming, you should think of. Okay, so how we can perform such kind of a mathematical operation in program? Are there any operators available to do such kind of a task? You should think of. Okay, so we have two operators. One is called modulo division. Okay, so which returns reminder. This gives reminder after division. And we have another division operator called as a forward slash or division operator. Okay, so this gives quotient after division. This gives quotient after division, which are required here. See, quotient we are getting, and remainder also we are getting by using these two operators, modulo division and division operator. Okay, so that means now in programming, when you implement, you can use these two operators. Okay, now first see here, so first 3 we have extracted. No, this 3 you straight away go and add it to sum. For example, initially what you do, you take a variable sum, initially 0. Okay, so 3 you got, you go and add this to 3. Okay, so now sum contains 3, sum contains 3. Okay, now you reduce your number to 12 because remaining 2 digits are available here. Okay, so now again repeat the same process. 12 you take, again you divide this with the 10. Okay, so how many times? 10 ones are 10. Okay, then the remainder will be 2. Okay, so that means 12 you have separated into 2 digits. Okay, so the last digit 2 is available as a reminder, and the remaining digit 1 is available as a quotient. Okay, so always you add this reminder to the sum here. Okay, so 2 we got. Now you add this 2 to sum, then your sum will become 5 here, your sum will become 5 here. Okay, so what is the number left here? 1 is left. Again repeat the same process with 1. Okay, so divide 1 with 10. So how many times? 10 zeros are 0. Okay, so then the remainder you will get 1. Okay, so this reminder you add it to sum here. Okay, so add it to sum, then your reminder, this your sum now contains a 6. And finally your number reduce it to 0. See here, this is your number, 123 is your number. Okay, so 123 you reduce it first to 12, then 12 you reduce it to 1, 1 you reduce it to 0. Okay, so that means finally your number is reduced to 0. When your number is reduced to 0, it indicates that you have extracted all individual digits. Okay, so 1 you have extracted, 2 you have extracted, 3 you have extracted. Okay, so as per commutative law, 1 plus 2 plus 3, or you can also use 3 plus 2 plus 1 also is same. Okay, as per commutative law you are getting the same answer. Yes or no? Okay, so you should not just think of only performing addition in this way, 1 plus 2 plus 3, how I can perform. No, finally you should get the result as a 6. Okay, sum of digits should be 6. So you try to find out a way so that you get the result 6 or sum of the individual digits. You can add in any order by using mathematical properties. 1 plus 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2 plus 1 you can do. Okay, clear? Now this logic we have to implement in the program. Now the same mathematical operation your program should perform, and it should stop when your number becomes a 0. Okay, now let me convert these mathematical steps, because most of the questions asked in a TCS Ninja will contain mathematical solutions. Okay, so you should know how to convert these mathematical solutions into programming steps. Okay, right. So now here what we do is we include the header file. Okay, so don't forget to include the header file. stdio.h. Okay, so then write the main, okay. Then we need to store a number, no? So you declare a number, int n or num, you can declare num or n. Okay, so anything you can call here. Okay, so I am taking the number as a n. Okay, so you should store the reminder we require. So that's reminder. For that reminder, I am using a variable called as rem. Similarly, we need to find out sum, no? And sum you initialize it to 0 blindly. Whenever there is a variable sum, you initialize it to 0. Initialize it to 0. Okay, right? So any other variables if we require, will add afterwards. Okay, these are the basic variables required from those calculations. Okay, so first ask the user to enter the number. Say enter a number. Okay, using printf statement. Now he enters through keyboard. Now how to read number entered through keyboard? By using scanf person, scanf. And what is the format specification? Integer, no? So we use %d comma and catch the number in address of variable n. Okay, so n now contains your number 123. Okay, so assume that n now contains, this is your variable n. I'm just showing here. Okay, so this is when you declare, memory will be allocated for n here, 123 will be stored here after these statements. Similarly, we have two more other variables. Okay, so this is reminder, memory is allocated for reminder, and we have one more variable called a sum. Okay, so this is a memory allocated for sum, assume. And what is the value initially stored here? Sum in 0 will be stored here, in reminder garbage value. Okay, right? So when you get this message, enter a number, user entered some number, assume that user entered 123, and that 123 will be stored in a variable n in this format. Okay, right? Now we have the number with us. Okay, so now just I'm trying to convert those mathematical steps into programming steps here. Okay, so just see here. So what you need to get here, reminder you are getting, no? You are getting the reminder here. Okay, so just see here, I'll write reminder is equals to, okay, so given number n is the number. Then how to get reminder? By using modulus operator, mod, with which we are dividing, with 10 we are dividing. Okay, so to get the reminder, you should write the statement in this form, reminder is equal to n mod 10. That means the number n is divided with 10, and this operator gives you the reminder. That reminder I am catching in a variable called as rem. Okay, so when this statement is executed, what happens? That means the first division operation is carried out here. Okay, so this division operation is carried out here. Just see here. Okay, so this division operation is carried out here. This division operation, first division operation is carried out here. Okay, so reminder is called 123 mod 10. That means 3 reminder you will get, and that 3 will be stored in reminder. Okay, so now this variable reminder contains the value 3. 3 will be stored in this. Okay, so now you got one digit. No, immediately what you do is you add it to sum. Immediately you add it to sum. You add it to sum. Okay, so how you can add it to sum? How you can add it to sum? Sum plus 3. There is a variable. Okay, so sum plus and reminder. Sum plus a reminder. Okay, reminder you are adding to sum. Okay, so what is sum value? What is sum value? Just see here. What is sum value? Sum value is 0. Yeah, someone joined. Right, so sum value is 0 here. Okay, so then it performs 0 plus 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. Okay, so 0 plus 3 is 3, and this 3 again I am storing back in a same variable sum. I am storing back this again in sum. Okay, so I write a statement, sum is equal to, how you can catch in a variable? By using assignment statement. Yes or no? Okay, so you can say sum is equal to sum plus a reminder. Okay, so that means the 0 plus 3 will be added, 0 plus 3 initial value of sum 0 and the remainder value 3. 0 plus 3 will be added and the result will be stored back in sum. Okay, so that means now the sum contains 3. Now the sum contains the value 3. Okay, so 3 will be stored in a sum after this. Okay, now you extracted 3 here. This 3 already you extracted, no? Okay, so from 123 you extracted this 3 already, you added to sum. Okay, so this is over. This is over. So you have to get the remaining 2 digits. Where you are getting those remaining 2 digits? You are getting those remaining 2 digits in the quotient. Okay, so that means again you perform the division so that you can get the quotient. So how you can get the quotient here? N divided by 10, n slash 10. When you do n slash 10, n is divided with 10 and you will be returned quotient. That quotient again you catch back in a n, so that it is as if you are reducing your n to next to 2 digits. After extracting 3, you are reducing your n to 1 and 2, 12. Okay, so this 12 will be stored back again in n. And these 3 steps should repeat again these 3 steps should repeat. Okay, so that means you should keep these 3 steps in a loop. Okay, so here you write a loop here, while. Okay, so while, and finally see here, what is the condition? Loop should repeat as long as n is not equal to 0. Finally, when n becomes 0, your loop should stop. That means what is the condition? How you frame the condition? N not equals to 0. As long as n is not equals to 0. So here I write this while statement, while n not equals to 0. Okay, so this is the condition and everything you should keep inside the loop. Okay, so after this statement, again you close the loop here. Close the loop here. Okay, so then your loop ends here. Okay, so the first step now, in the first step initially again we'll execute from the beginning. Enter a number 123, you entered that 123 is stored in a n. Okay, right? So now it checks first time when it enters 123 not equal to 0. Yes, enters the loop. Then remainder is equal to 123 mod 10. 123 mod 10 means remainder contains 3. Then sum is equal to sum plus remainder means the 3 will be added to sum. Then n is equal to n by 12. Okay, so that means now you have reduced n to 12. Okay, so that means now n will contain this 12 only. N will contain now 12 only. Yes, okay, so again what happens? Again end of the loop reaches, again it goes back to condition part. So again it comes here, checks the condition. Now what is the current value of n? Just see here, n value is 12. 12 not equal to 0. Yes, again remainder is equal to 12 mod 10. 12 mod 10 means this operation is carried out here. Okay, so just see here, this operation is carried out. So what is the remainder? You will get 2. Okay, so that means in remainder, in the variable remainder, now it stores 2. Now 2 will be stored here. Okay, so that means this contains 2 now. This contains 2 now. Okay, then goes to the next statement. It comes here. Okay, so it comes to this statement here. Sum is equal to sum plus remainder. Immediately you add it to remainder. Okay, so what is sum value? 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Again that 5 I am storing back in a sum. Okay, so that means now your sum contains the value 5. Okay, so 5 will be stored in sum. Then n is equal to n by 10. Now n will be reduced to 1 here. Okay, so that means what is the quotient you are getting? 1. So that 1 will be stored in a n. Okay, so that means now n contains 1 here. Okay, so n 1 will be stored in a n. Okay, end of the loop reached. Again it goes back to condition part of the loop. It goes back to condition part of the loop. 1 not equal to 0. Yes, okay, remainder is equal to n mod 10. 1 mod 10, that means this operation is carried out. This operation is carried out. And what is the remainder you are getting here? This is the remainder 1. So that means in remainder you will get 1 here. Okay, so 1 will be stored in remainder. 1 will be stored in remainder. Immediately you add it to sum. Sum is equal to sum plus remainder. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, so that means now remainder contains this sum contains 5 plus 1 means 6 will be stored in a sum. N is equal to n by 10. N by 10 means what is the quotient you are getting? 0 here. Okay. So that 0 will be stored in a n. So that means now n contains a 0 here. N contains 0 here. Okay. So again goes back to condition part. While n 0 not equal to 0, false. 0 not equal to 0, false. Okay. So then it comes out from the loop. Now if you see the variables, where is your sum stored here? In this sum of digits will be stored in a variable called as a sum. So here you print that sum of digits here. Okay. So I'm just printing here, say printf sum of digits is equal to percentage d comma sum you print. Okay. Then say return 0. Return 0. Then close your main program. Okay. So main program will be closed here. That's it. This is sum of digits of a program. You can enter any number for n. Okay. So then it gives sum of individual digits directly. Is it clear? Any doubts? You can try with these type of see paperwork you have to do. When you do paperwork, then you'll get the logic building here. Okay. So 3 statements here. First, getting the reminder, then adding the remainder immediately to sum and reducing your n to next digits. That's it. Okay. You repeat this until your n becomes a 0. Okay. So shall we execute this program? Yeah, right. Okay. So what I do, write efficient code so that your program executes faster. Okay. So now how you can improve this code, just see here. What I am doing is I am just copying that code here, supply all the codes to you. How I can improve this code? Just see here. This is very, very important. Yeah, we got this. Okay. Right. Okay. So only this loop part I am interested in. So that's why. Right. Now see, reminder is equal to n mod 10. Sum is equal to sum plus a reminder here. Okay. So this statement, shorthand assignment operator, hope you might have studied. Okay. So whenever we have a statement of this kind, a is equals to a plus 10. Okay. That means left hand side variable and right hand side first variable. Left hand side variable and right hand side first variable. See if these two are same, this and this. Okay. So we can write these two in this form, a plus equals to 10. Shorthand notation. This is called a shorthand notation. First operator, then followed by equal to symbol. Don't write equal to plus is equal to. Okay. So the meaning of this is nothing but a plus is equal to 10 is a is equal to a plus 10. Okay. So whenever you have such kind of things, better you use shorthand notation so that your program execution will be faster here. Okay. So that means these things you can modify in this way. Okay. So sum plus this is there now, so you can remove this and you can just write it as sum plus is equal to remainder, that is sum is equal to sum plus. Similarly this you can reduce to n slash is equal to n slash is equal, divide n with 10, that is what you are informing to the compiler. Okay, right, n slash, there should not be any space between these two operators, plus is equal to slash is equal to, please remember. Okay, so this way if you write, then your program execution will be faster. Okay, so let me just quickly show you the execution and I'll try to improve this program still. Okay, right, so now I am executing this. Now see here, there is some enter a number. Okay, what is the problem? Yeah, problem with the double quotes. Printf spelling is wrong. Okay, so that's why it is, yeah, you can see the color change. Okay, now there are no errors. It is asking enter the number 1 2 3. If I enter, sum of digits is equal to 6, it is showing. Okay, right, basic logic, if it is correct, then afterwards you can improve it. 1 2 3 4 5. If I enter, okay, sum of digits is equal to 15, it is, you can enter any number and you can get this one. Okay, right, so here the logic here is now not to write inside the main, not to write the logic inside the main. You have to develop such a way that it should be done by a function. Okay, it should be done by a function. That means given your n to a function, it should calculate sum of digits and return back to you, return back to you. Clear? Okay, so that's how you should write, so that you can utilize this function in other programs also. That's how your main program size will reduce. Okay, so I am just converting the same into functions type, how you can write in functions using functions or. Okay, right, so quickly I'll just convert this into functions. Okay, so just see here, I'm just, so now whenever you want to write the code using another function apart from main, you want to use another function, you should think like this. Now you are writing the main function, you think like a main function. Okay, so enter a number. Okay, you entered some number 123, you entered. Okay, so now n contains the given number. Now assume that main doesn't know how to calculate sum of digits of this number. Okay, so what it is doing, it is calling a function called as a sum of digits. You should assume there is a function called as a sum of digits function, and you give your n to this one, this function. Okay, so you are calling a function called as sum of digits. There is a function, you should assume that there is a function by name sum of digits, and if you give this n to this function, it calculates sum of individual digits in present in n, and it returns that sum value. Okay, so that sum value you catch in a variable called as a s. Okay, now you say s is equal to, s is equal to, so who is calculating sum of digits? This function is calculating sum of digits and returning that value. Where you are catching? You are catching in s. Okay, so now your s contains, now your s contains sum of digits, directly you print here. So when you print this, you will get your sum of digits program. Sum of digits will be printed here. Okay, so I just copy this here. Just see here, then your main program ends here. Main program ends, that's it. Okay, so in single line you can find sum of digits by calling this function. Okay, so it calculates n sum of individual digits in n and returns, and I am printing this yes here. Okay, so yes, I am printing here, and you should declare yes here. Okay, so no need to initialize here, just yes you can say, and when you print yes, it prints. Now you should think of like a function. You called this function, no? Now you define this function here. You define this function here. After the main, you define the function. Okay, so after the main, now I am defining the function. So it is returning an integer value now. Return type is integer. What is the function name? Sum of digits. Sum of digits. This is my function name. And what is the argument it is taking? N is the argument. So you define a variable n with the data type. Okay, so this is called actual parameter. Here this is called formal parameter. Okay, so you can define a same n and n in this. Okay, so I told in the last class, when you define n here and n here, now see, for this main program there is a n created, a local variable for this main program, and 123 is stored here. Okay, so when you call this function here, what is happening? Sum of digits n, the value present in n will be passed. It is just like to compiler, it looks like sum of digits of 123, it looks like. Okay, so that value will be caught in this n here. Okay, so when control comes here, this is n, we again a local variable, so that's why here one more memory will be allocated for n, and 123 will be stored in this, because here the value is coming and that value will be stored, caught into this variable. That's why you need to define along with the data type. This is called a formal parameter. This is called a formal parameter. In function definition it is called formal parameter, and in function calling it is called as a actual parameter. Okay, so it is called as a actual parameter. So actual parameters always come by value. Okay, formal parameters receive those value and stores those values. Okay, right. So now we got n in this function, no? Okay, so just define the code here. I define the function in next page. Right. Okay, so inside this, now n is with you, the same logic you can implement. So here you define a variable called as a sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to 0 you define. Okay, so then n is already available to you, n not equal to 0, then you define. So reminder is also you require now. So you declare a local variable reminder here. Okay, so then reminder is equal to n mod 10, sum is equal to sum plus reminder, n is equal to n by 10. This will calculate sum. And finally, instead of printing here, what you should do? You should return this sum. Return a sum. Okay, so then close the function here. Okay, so this is while loop close here. I can show this like this. Okay, so this is while loop close here, and here function will close here. That's it. Okay, so sum of digits function you can use somewhere if you required in your program. Okay, so you can just define this. You should remember how to write this sum of digits. Okay, n is coming, I want to calculate sum and I should return this sum. This is how you should think. Okay, so then that sum will be returned, and where it comes to exactly this point here, and that will be stored in a yes. Okay, so I am printing sum of digits is equal to yes. That's it. Okay, so writing in terms of functions is required, right? Next, once you write the function, and don't forget to write its prototype. Okay, so don't forget to write its prototype. Just this is called function header. You copy this function header as it is, and before your main function you add this function declaration. That means you should declare. Yesterday I told, no, if you don't declare, what happens with the compiler? Okay, by the time it reaches, compiler should know information about this function. So that's why you are giving this information. You copy the header as it is and end with a semicolon. This will become prototype or function declaration. Okay, so then your compiler won't give any error. Clear? Right? So I'll take doubts. If you have any doubts, just quickly before, because how much time we left? Yeah, 2 minutes we left. Okay, so it will, again we need to log in again. Okay, automatically it will log out within 2 minutes. Okay, so I'll take some doubts within these 2 minutes of time. Any doubts? No doubts? If no doubts, then I'll move on to next logic, which is based on the same. Okay, so this I'll say this is second type. No? So I just write here. This is second way of writing the same program. Yeah, I'm not getting any messages. Okay, so better you type in our WhatsApp group. Otherwise, yeah, in WhatsApp group I'm getting messages quick. Okay, okay, right. Okay, so we'll try to solve one more problem on this. Okay, all right. Now the other type is using the same kind of logic. Okay, so there is another program. Okay, so this is program to print the given number in reverse. Program to print the given number. Okay, so otherwise instead of printing, reverse a given number, you should